Welcome, everyone. We are joining you today for our weekly update. I'm joined by Chris Bolton, who is our CEO located at our Center of Excellence in Panama. Chris, thanks so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing really, really well. And thanks for the opportunity. We have a lot to talk about today.
Absolutely. So, as many of you may have seen, we released our ESG report this morning. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's our environmental, social, and governance report. So, Chris, this is a guiding beacon for many private and publicly traded companies. So, why don't we talk about why it is so important to us and how proud we are of what we've put out?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's very important for those that are watching today to understand our vision and our mission, and more importantly, what's the purpose of the company. I won't spoil it for them. I really encourage you to come and see these. But when you do, you'll see that our commitment as part of the DNA of the company itself is to include the primary principles of ESG themselves, but also within the UN protocols that have, in this case, a total of 17 practices and targets that they're going after. Where do we fit in all of that? Where does the company plan to be a year from now? Where does it plan to be ultimately even 5 years from now? And so in enabling it to be kept relatively simple to understand, we did prepare our policy statement on this that also helps educate our viewers perhaps a little bit more on the methodologies and frameworks that are not just optional today, but are very highly likely to be built into legal frameworks tomorrow. We've watched substantive changes in Canada, for example. So we are trading on the CSE, the Canadian Securities Exchange. I've had the opportunity to sit through two fairly long presentations by the CEO of the CSE, as well as his subject matter experts as to how corporations on the CSE are going to be required to do reporting going forward in very near future, how the laws in Canada have substantively changed and adapted to measuring what effectively are sustainable goals. Now, it's no secret that anyone investing is looking for risks within a company. And how do you measure those risks? Well, before it was, what do you have for sales and what do you have for competition? And is your technology obsoleting? And the occasional force majeure event like we experienced with the pandemic, that's been kind of traditional. But they've looked beyond that. And why? Because we're global. We're global as a world economy. And as we saw with the fractioning of supply chains, that's a corporate international risk. Making sure that governments remain stable, or making sure that the population that is the workforce is available tomorrow, making sure that the environments in which they operate and send their children to school, and that the women within those communities have equal opportunities. There are all those risks that have been rolled up through the UN's original targets, as we call them, for 2030, which are also extending to 2050 in very near future. And because of that, we really wanted to capture it on day one.
Yeah.
And we have, yeah.
We are actually, when we've done our research against competitors as well as other industries that are similar to our own, we've seen that many of them have failed to actually identify their own ESG objectives and how they are incorporating it. So kudos to the team for being very forth-minded with that and putting it at the front when we first went public.
Well, thanks, Colleen. And we waited 6 months because we really wanted to understand where could we contribute? And more importantly, how could we objectively measure any of it? There is a problem with regards to the colloquialisms of ESG, and it's called greenwashing. And greenwashing is, sure, we do a bunch of really nice stuff over here. Look at all the really, no. It is quantitatively, how did you improve any of these targets? Show us. Now, as I say, it's not that you always meet your target. You may not, in which case you express how you would do better in the subsequent year, and that's done internally, at least for now. But our goal was, no, we have identified quite a number of targets. And again, I won't spoil it for the viewers. I encourage them to come and see our report and zero in on our appendices as to how we've identified our risks, and quantitatively in our Appendix 2, which is our goal, objective, strategy, plans, and actions for the 2021-2022 year, what we hope to accomplish. And that sets our baseline. And then after that, we'll be announcing at our annual general meeting on August the 25th of this summer, where we're going to go from here. After we've understood that baseline, right? So for those that will no doubt be calling and ask you, Colleen, well, that sounds great, but when will the report be finalized, and when will it be reported? We're rolling up our numbers, and the target date for that is July the 5th. So we're well down the path on that already and collecting our data. The question then is, where does the data go? And there are frameworks, international frameworks. There's at least 5, of course, that most people know. 2 primary ones, which are SASB and GRI, where these can be reported and reviewed and audited effectively for some degree of accuracy, of course. And we encourage that. But we also are very mindful that this has to be done at the time that we're doing our first annual audit under IFRS, and that being the international accounting standard. And thankfully, there's harmonization coming, and both accounting and ESG in the way that they're audited, the way that they're reporting are coming together. And it won't be long where ESG is part of the audit, and it will be part of the annual return. It will be there, right? So I wanted to make sure that our viewers today really understand that we understand the importance of it. We're committed to it. Our staff have been delivered a copy of our policy as we work through it. It's part of our corporate annual GOSPA, goals, objectives, strategy, plans, and actions. They know what those targets look like and where we're heading. So I'm really, really excited that we're well underway. And I'm very happy that after our first 6 months of public offering, we are exactly where we had hoped to be, Colleen. And then very exciting to look forward to the rolling up of the report on July the 5th, and then standing up and presenting that report and the forward-looking statements for the following year on August 25th.
That's right. So for our viewers, anyone who would like to see a copy of our ESG report, you can go to our website and download it. You can also reach out to me through email at cmckay@sproutai.solutions. I'll be happy to provide you with a copy. And also make sure that you mark in your calendars August 25th for our annual general meeting. We'll be looking forward to seeing you there. So Chris, any notes that you'd like to sign off with today?
Well, this is just the start, as all companies have. But as I say, if you understand our vision, our mission, and our purpose, you'll see that this was embedded on day one. And we are going to set the standard for the industry. I'm fully convinced of this. We will be the path charger, so to speak, trailblazer, whatever term you wish to use for the industry as a whole for vertical indoor farming, which has so much potential to positively impact the UN targets. So this is good timing, and more importantly, as we show how this is done globally in multiple jurisdictions around the globe, then we should really get some good kudos. So thanks to our team for all their hard work, and let's get going.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to talking with any investors who have questions. Please do feel free to reach out to us. We are always happy to jump on the phone or get onto a Zoom call to chat with you. Thanks so much, and everyone take care.